Hello, everyone. When we talk about transit, we usually talk about moving vehicles, but transit begins and ends with waiting. It is a system defined not by mobility, but by systemic neglect often, and also rendering the daily commute an exhausting act of endurance rather than a public service. Today, I want to talk about the space of waiting, especially moving from sign pole to the place. This work is a result of an interdisciplinary transit placemaking design studio at the University of Cincinnati, initiated by DAAP Experiential Design Lab in fall 2024. Our partner and client, Southwest Ohio Regional Transit Authority, aka SORTA, and Cincinnati Metro, serves over 13 million riders annually in Cincinnati, and I heard number is increasing every month. This project is integrated into the unique 5-year intergovernmental agreement between DAAP and SORTA Metro on research and implementation. Our shared objective was to use research through design to simplify urban communication and foster a sense of community at the micro level of DAAP. Systemic urban problems cannot be solved in academic silos. We built a collaborative studio bringing together architecture, graphic, industrial, and planning students. The goal was to synthesize functional requirements into desirable three-dimensional forms, teaching students to integrate typography, form making, and structural material exploration into urban public space. In this advanced design studio, 20 upperclassmen in 15 weeks cultivate the professional dexterity to conduct rigorous research, synthesize complex insights, and translate functional mandates into iterative design solutions, all while engaging in brave interdisciplinary collaboration for the first time. Having already designed and established the modular signage system for Metro, our studio's primary design challenge centers on a single rigid constraint, and that is the 80 inches span of uninterrupted vertical space available on a standard bus stop pole. We challenged our young designers by saying, how might we enhance the functionality and storytelling of a single pole while maintaining strict systemic clarity? We had to view the bus stop not as a marker, but as an urban public space system offering utility, storytelling, and placemaking. Before we could add, we had to understand the base structure first. The pole shifted from a mere sign of support into civic infrastructure. Using standard half-inch panel adapter, the structural frame becomes already a seamless modular extrusion. This clean wireframe-like system allows us to mount varying in scale prototypes without compromising the pole's primary transit function. And then in the studio, we're going to make in-scale prototypes just to test and run those designs. So as a takeaway, the pole shifted from a sign support into a civic infrastructure and urban design system. But what do riders actually need from the structure in the urban public space? We anchored our research right at the bus stop itself, mandating every student to ride a bus. Fun, right? Almost immediately, the fundamental question surfaced. Which bus is it? Can I fit my bike? How do I install the app? Oh no. To my utter surprise, out of the entire cohort, only one student had ever used public transit system before. This shift from passive classroom learning to direct participatory experience was the key essential turning point. Ethnographic immersion was the only way to transform our students for detached observers into empathetic, informed designers. Students produced comprehensive reports benchmarking local and global case studies. By engaging user experiences, material innovation, graphic storytelling, and the integration of smart technologies through a comprehensive template. It was really cool to see all these things coming up together. And yes, this global scans reveals the local micro opportunities too. Then we moved to the primary research from secondary. We audited 5 different typologies of bus stops across the city, also conducting deep ethnographic studies to observe and document the nuanced lived activities of riders in their natural waiting environments around the bus stop. We didn't just observe the riders. We also utilized Gordon Cullen's seminal serial vision, that framework to conduct orderly visual audits from the moving pedestrian's perspective too. Here is a sample of spending hours conducting behavioral mapping. We logged activities using the AEIOU framework, which is activities, environments, interactions, objects, and the users. We surveyed around 68 people on site and coded the common issues and patterns. We also synthesized these insights through affinity cluster and mapping, discovering the riders craved for safer waiting experiences, clearer amenities, and ways to combat the boredom of idle waiting time. As a takeaway, ethnographic observation turned our design students into empathetic designers. To ground these insights into reality, we brought many experts, field experts, and resource persons into the studio. We hosted talk series with transit engineers, urban planners and designers, public historians, archivists, and built environment experts and EGD experts from the city of Cincinnati as well. We came to know about design as built forms, design as system, design as module, design as service, design as making, among many others. This complementary lecture series served as a crucial intellectual catalyst, providing systematic breadth, which is necessary for our students to bravely unlearn their assumptions and openly question the status quo of our transit design. Now, real constraints and expert voices immediately grounded our interdisciplinary thinking. From there, the classic sketching began. We moved our OK sketches to good ideas by brainstorming around specific human scenarios in the urban realm. We tried many invented scenarios to brainstorm. The morning commuter holding hot coffee who needs a small ledge. The student resting heavy groceries running back to the bus stop. Or the couple looking for a shared digital experience while waiting. Sketching became our shared language between the groups for testing ideas. To balance our energetic vocal and loud sketching sessions, we frequently transitioned into silent wall reviews, providing a focused space for deep individual reflection and reflect back to your group. Now, we have established corridor identity and neighborhood stories as a constant foundational feature for each group's intervention that they have to do. Also, it allows each team to explore diverse variables, highlighting these 4, which is emotional, functional, social, and personal placemaking, while maintaining a cohesive, scalable system of civic legibility. To push past obvious solutions, we implemented the SCAMPER method for sketching. We asked students to substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put into another use, eliminate, or rearrange, which is SCAMPER method, to really brainstorm their ideas out. This forced the transition from traditional linear thinking into dynamic system thinking, mapping the connections between modular elements. Digital renderings are always safe, and our students are very good in this, but public space is very unforgiving. So they quickly learned skills to sketch better within the group and communicate raw ideas among themselves. Now, sketching became a language for thinking, testing, and communicating ideas. There was a resistance in the beginning, but truly they realized immediately that they are communicating better with their sketches. We also mandated physical material audits and hands-on learning. You can see Joel talking about the materials and the elements with our students. Our students underwent training in the DAAP build lab and their metal shop. They braved the cut, welded for the first time. They also CNC cut and assembled wood without the nails. For many of them, this course actually opened the build lab for the first time in their whole DAAP life. And it was exciting to see how quickly they moved from hesitation to making, confusion to testing, and producing. Debunking build lab misconceptions turned their assumptions into hard evidence. To structure the studio, we developed around 27 collaborative design artifacts, each assigned to a team for 4 designers of different programs, with the expectation that each group would produce all full-scale prototypes and test them. I'll share a few examples from those projects. By the way, making mistakes and learning from them became the primary method of learning in the studio. The support and sponsorship from the client actually helped a lot to get rid of all the stresses from purchasing and the cost. We utilized rapid prototyping, moving from cardboard to rigid materials, constantly iterating based on studio critics and critical peer reviews. Now, let's look at a few of those final concepts. The first group that I'm talking about explored how rider interaction could provide both information and entertainment at the same time, while still operating within a strict yet flexible design system. The assembly is intentionally very simple, but fascinating, that the pulse channel acts as a spine in the middle, filled with spacers to establish height, and then allowing modules and design modules to slide on and lock into place securely to the outside. So this ensures the design is both modular for different location and easy for the maintenance crew to install using the vertical channel. So it is very systematic all across the system of bus stops. Rapid prototypes were developed with strong intention to detail, engineering clarity almost, and clearly rationale for tactile surfaces. Interactive gamification introduced urban discourse and asynchronous exchanges between strangers, riders, through shared emotions. The modular system also integrated new bus stop features alongside neighborhood history and contextual transit facts and fun. Oh, technical drawings were also executed with rigor and joy. Of course, there was a lot of sweat as well. The modules would contain a variety of information that could appeal to different users, such as bus info, neighborhood facts, and interactive games. You can choose between them. The idea was to create an easy hierarchy of information, but very interactive. Of course, they're designed for human behaviors, like holding a grocery bag while waiting. This repeated test allows the student to refine the careful ergonomics of the hooks and the readability of the information modules at the same moment under actual street level conditions and other noises. For another group, the highlight was the functional placemaking through navigation, classic choice. Here we developed a scalable tactile printed drum system, which can be attached to the main channel. Using strict tabular typography, it maps local assets. For example, Northside Farmers Market or the Spring Grove Cemetery, which are very lucrative to be at, based on a 6, 12, or 20-minute walking radius. It transforms a wait time into meaningful exploration time in the neighborhood. Another group focused on emotional placemaking through neighborhood storytelling. Using cut and rolled metal, perforated metal, steel, and translucent acrylic, they made a weatherproof local histories visible through a systematic assemblage of storytelling units. How can small visible flags help riders signal they're waiting, also thank drivers as they leave the bus stop? A simple pole-mounted flag system makes riders visible, keeps them safely on the sidewalk, and turns signaling into a small gesture of thanks for the bus drivers through their back mirror. Construction drawings becomes research in action, refined with experts for real-world feasibility, while students learned faster from each other, enjoyed the process, and elevated the studio work beyond what I could have directed alone. And these are not engineering or architectural students at all. Then another student, for them, social placemaking through play and comfort was the key. So for Cincinnati, their project Sit Cincinnati explored how we might introduce rest with interaction. Students engineered modular seating that attached directly to the existing pole, and with the weight of with your weight, it actually will light up. So we took these full-scale modules and models outside for in-context testing. Seeing real users rest their bags on a custom hook, sit on a newly engineered bench, or read about their neighborhood history confirmed our initial hypothesis. This is how it will lit up. We also reimagined landmark as the moment of play. Analog tactile puzzle panels that invite riders of all ages to slow down, touch, and learn about neighborhood architectural through its details and play. We brought landmarks to the street corner, created a functional puzzle which can be playful but also informational. Ultimately, these are all small interventions, but one shared infrastructure. Massive possibilities for how a city moves, communicates, and belongs. The smile said it all at the end. A successful first and uniquely sponsored placemaking design studio in DAAP, built through hard work, shared learning, and collective pride in Cincinnati. The core lesson of this collaboration is pretty simple. In the city, a pole is never just a pole. By moving beyond siloed transit engineering, we treated the bus stop as a living city interference where information, safety, identity, and care meet at the scale of the street. The half-inch adapter and wireframe armature gave us the structure for sure, but the real design intelligence lives in the layers. Rolling modules, tactile surfaces, analog flags, augmented reality moments, and neighborhood stories that transformed infrastructure into communications. This is where visual communication became more than just cool graphics. It became public infrastructure. It made waiters safer, more legible, more local, but also make the riders more dignified. Across 27 full-scale prototypes, these young students proved the power of interdisciplinary research through design, bringing graphic, industrial, architectural, and urban thinking together to challenge what transit infrastructure can be. And this is the shift at the heart of the work, from signpole to placemaking. In the public right-of-way, typography, material, and modularity are not small details. They are the foundation of a strong civic trust. I thank everybody who worked diligently in this project, also the studio guest. We thank our collaborators from SORTA and Metro, our current student research associates, sign fabricator and prototyping collaborator, our 20 students, and faculty advisors. Thank you so much.